He was my professor. But I was his temptation. They say the most dangerous loves are the ones you're not supposed to have. But sometimes, the heart doesn't care about rules. When I first walked into Professor Hayes' classroom, I wasn't looking for love. I wasn't even looking for attention. But the moment his dark, commanding eyes locked on mine, I knew something inside me had shifted. He wasn't like other men. Sharp jawline, tailored suits, a voice deep enough to vibrate through your bones. The kind of man who seemed untouchable. Off-limits. Dangerous. And yet, when he looked at me, I felt like I was the only one in the room. At first, it was small things. The way his gaze lingered when he called my name. The way he leaned closer when he explained something, his cologne wrapping around me like a secret. I told myself it was nothing. Just imagination. But then came that night. I had stayed behind after class to finish a paper. The building was nearly empty, the halls echoing with silence. I sat at his desk while he went through my work, the soft scratch of his pen the only sound between us. "You write boldly," he murmured, his voice low, almost dangerous. His hand brushed mine when he handed the pages back. A simple touch, but it set my entire body on fire. I looked up, and his eyes were already on me. Not professional. Not guarded. But hungry. My lips parted, my heart racing. And then he pulled back suddenly, breathing hard. "You should go," he said tightly. "Before we cross a line we can't uncross." But instead of leaving, I whispered. "What if I want to cross it?" Rain poured outside as we walked to the parking lot. My umbrella was broken, and before I could protest, he offered me a ride. The car was silent, but the air was electric. I could feel his tension, his struggle, as his hand gripped the steering wheel. When he finally parked outside my apartment, neither of us moved. I turned to thank him, and found his face inches from mine. "Tell me not to," he whispered, his voice ragged. But I couldn't. I didn't want to. I leaned forward, and our lips crashed together, hungry, desperate, forbidden. The kiss was fire and danger, sweet and sinful all at once. His hands tangled in my hair as mine gripped his shirt, pulling him closer, deeper. For the first time in my life, I didn't care about right or wrong. I only cared about him. It didn't stop there. Nights turned into stolen hours. Classrooms turned into secret rendezvous. In his office, behind locked doors, he'd press me against the desk, his lips tracing fire down my skin. Every brush of his hand, every whisper of my name, made me ache for more. "You're dangerous," he groaned once, his forehead pressed to mine. "And you're mine," I whispered back. Our love was reckless. Bold. Lusty. And every second of it made me feel alive. But secrets have a way of finding light. A classmate began to notice. The way his eyes followed me. The way I smiled when he spoke. Rumors spread. Whispers filled the halls. One evening, a knock came on his office door while his lips were still on my neck. We froze, my pulse pounding. If we were caught, it would ruin him. His career. His reputation. Everything. But when the door finally closed and the footsteps faded away, he turned back to me, his eyes dark with desperation. "I don't care anymore," he said fiercely. "You're worth the risk." That night, at his apartment, we didn't rush. We didn't steal. We took our time, slow, tender, intense. Every kiss was a promise. Every touch, a confession. "I was supposed to guide you," he whispered, his lips trailing down my shoulder. "Not fall for you." And yet, I breathed, pulling him closer. Here we are. For the first time, it wasn't just lust. It was love, raw, terrifying, undeniable. The university launched an investigation after whispers grew too loud. They questioned students. They questioned him. I was terrified. Not of being caught, but of losing him. One night, he showed up at my apartment, rain-soaked and trembling with emotion. I can't hide anymore, he said. I can't pretend I don't want you, don't need you. I'd rather lose everything than lose you. Tears filled my eyes as I threw myself into his arms. Then don't let go, I whispered. He resigned from the university weeks later. It was a scandal, yes. But in the end, it gave us freedom. We moved away, started new lives, no longer bound by rules and walls. And though the world may never understand, I didn't care. Because every morning, when I woke up to his arms around me, I knew the truth. He wasn't just my professor. He was my temptation. My passion. My forbidden fire. And in the end, he was my forever.